Okay, so first of all, I'd just like to say thanks to Julie for giving me this opportunity, which is actually very scary for me because I don't do public speaking at all, even though I chat to everyone. But that's kind of one of the reasons that I'm doing this. There's a few reasons I'm doing this. First of all, as a Lilui Nishmat to my father, my late father, who passed away just over a month ago, and also because the theme of the Shiur today is what does it mean to be free, and what does it mean to really get out of your MEYTZARIM, your personal straits? What is that? So one of my fears is speaking in front of a lot of people. So I'm trying to get out of that and hope that my dad is proud. I'm wearing his watch today, and he liked bright colors. Sam said that he'll be looking down on me. So let's hope that that's the case. Let's hope that. And this is for, if anyone doesn't know, this is Man United. No. God forbid, this is Man United. So I decided that, given that I'm incredibly awkward with doing this, that I figured a visual aid might help, because it distracts for me, for you, for everyone else. So basically during the Shiur, you're going to look out for this. The apron's going to distract you from me, and it's going to help with my nervousness as well. Okay. So when we talk about slavery, there's actually, I heard this thought recently that there's three types of slavery we talk about. There's the shibud haguf, which is basically the traditional vintage one that we know about from Egypt. They were doing backbreaking work. It was lefarech, it was pointless, it was a terrible thing that they had no rewards for what they were doing. That's the traditional one, the shibud haguf. Shibud haguf. Then there's no. Before that, we'll go back a little bit. What is Hakol Beseder? Why are we talking about Hakol Beseder? So that's the title of the talk. Hakol Beseder we translate as everything's okay. But there's another idea that basically whatever happens at the Seder is going to happen throughout the year. So whatever you are able to achieve at the Seder in terms of understanding Yetziat Mitzrayim and really living through Yetziat Mitzrayim, you'll be able to hopefully develop that way during the rest of the year. So it's supposed to be a microcosm of everything that will happen, Hakol Beseder, in the year to come. And we really try and follow the Mishnah Psakim that says, B'chol davadoch chayav adam lirot et atzmo ki'ilu hu. So now we get to the three types of slavery. The Shibud Haguf, which is the physical one. The Shibud HaNefesh, which is the spiritual, religious one. Which is also kind of, the Shibud Haguf is basically until Shavuot, when we got Matan Torah, so then, we were Shibud HaNefesh, because we weren't able to be free to follow Hashem. And then there's Shibud Malchuyot, which is the real reason, according to the Rambam, that we need Moshiach, because Shibud Malchuyot is, we still have this today, that we're not able to really follow 100% as a Jew. There's still a lot of anti-Semitism in the world, and once Moshiach comes, hopefully that will go away. So then people ask what really is freedom, and what are we? It doesn't really feel like we're free, which is why the aprons are the visual aid, because just in the kitchen definitely doesn't feel like we're free. Does this really mean that I came out of Mitzrayim just for this? So what does it mean to be free? These questions, and what does it mean to literally see yourself as if you came out of Mitzrayim? Doesn't feel like that in the kitchen. These questions have plagued us, excuse the pun, for hundreds of years, and just as many answers have been offered. I'm going to try and tackle a few of them today. One idea, so it says as well, Matchil bignut u'masayem b'shevach. What does that mean? Start with the bad and end with the good. So this is back to the first two, the Shibud Haguf and the Shibud HaNefesh. So it means many people today, unfortunately, they think about, my life isn't so good now. Hopefully in the future it'll be better. I'm going to, everything's bad, but we're just going to look at the good and everything for later on. And that's a big mistake. And with my late father, he always, even though he had a difficult life, he didn't expect things to be better later on. He just thought that, whatever I have now, I have. And if I get something good later, then I'll get something good later. But it's important to really understand and appreciate what you have the here and now. But then the next question is back to the Shibud HaNefesh and the Shibud Haguf. In terms of that, there's a MACHLOKET, because no good Shiur comes without a MACHLOKET, between basically Rav and Shmuel discussed what does it mean start with the bad and end with the good. Does that refer to Shibud haguf, or does it refer to shibud hanefesh? So shibud haguf is avadim hayinu lefara b'Mitzrayim until biyad chazak of Israel Natuya, and shibud hanefesh is in bitchila of day avodah zara haya avotenu v'achshav kirvenu hamakom le'avodata. Ultimately, it was paskin that we would do both, and that's definitely one way that we can get to freedom. Please both parties and don't upset anyone. But I believe that there's a different reason that they're both paskins. About 30 years ago, I met a psychiatrist who said to me, you never know. It's impossible to know where the mind stops and the body starts. So whatever you have with the body, whatever kind of like shibud you have with the body, you're going to also have with the nefesh, because they're very, very connected. So basically you have to, it's probably both of them for that reason. I personally believe that there's a fourth type of shibud that every single person has, and that's shibud atzma'i. There has to be a fourth type because everything in Pesach is four. There's the 4 cups, the 4 questions, the 4 whatever. So they spoke about 3 types of shibud. I think there's shibud atzma'i. Every single person has their own slavery. Menachem Mendel of Koch said, it took 1 day to get the Jews out of Mitzrayim, but 40 years to get Mitzrayim out of the Jews. Winnie the Pooh's own personal attempt to escape his MEYTZARIM was also like less than successful. It says, here is Edward Bear coming down the stairs now, bump, bump, bump on the back of his head, behind Christopher Robin. It is, as far as he knows, the only way of coming downstairs. But sometimes he feels there really has to be another way. If only you could stop bumping for a moment and think about it. And then he feels that perhaps there isn't. So when I wrote Haggadah for children, so I put that in because I said that's really MEYTZARIM. Like people really they know that in a certain way that they're living their life or they're acting is not the best way to do it, but it's impossible to like stop for a few moments and try and figure out another way to do it. And that's really the ikar of like Yetziat Mitzrayim. And that's what, and one of the lines in the Haggadah says Tzei Ulamad. So why doesn't it say they ask? Why doesn't it say Lech Ulamad? Because to just go and learn from a book is like one thing, but if you do Tzei Ulamad, you go out of yourself and you go out of your MEYTZARIM and you leave everything behind. That's where the real learning happens. And if you're able to do that at the Seder, then hopefully Hakol B'Seder, the rest of the year will also be like that. So we have when they came out of Egypt, like if it's just the Mitzrim that are like imposing laws, then that's one thing. But unfortunately, they weren't able to leave the Mitzrim and they weren't able to leave that kind of slavery. So what does it mean freedom as well? Like so, when you first look at the word freedom, there's different Hebrew words. The Hebrew words really the ikar, and it's basically there's 2 main words for freedom, at least as far as I saw, was cheret and chofshi. Chofshi is like the typical, like it's like liot am chofshi. You know, everything's free. Everything should be like we can just do whatever we want. But that's not real freedom. Real freedom has to come with a society. Has to come with laws. Has to come with something much grander than that. So when you look at the words, the late Rabbi Sachs said that. Wait, is it the next one? No. The late Rabbi Sachs said, he said that basically, 1 second. Oh yeah, the word cherut for freedom is not once found in the Tanakh. The only thing that's found, the closest thing to it, according to the late Rabbi Sachs, is charot, which means engraved. And that's in reference to charut ala luchot, the first set of tablets that Moshe brought down with Hashem's words and writings, which were engraved charut on the tablets. It says in Avot 6:2, it says, the tablets were the work of Hashem, and the writing was the writing of Hashem, engraved charut on the tablets. And then it says in Shmot 32, read not charut, engraved, but cherut, freedom. For the only person who is truly free is one who occupies himself with Torah study. So that is the light bulb moment, apparently. And what's the difference between cherut and chofesh? We can answer that question by finding the connection between cherut and charut. Real freedom is not following what a government or a teacher or a parent tells us because we're scared of the consequences. That will come and go, as those laws are not engraved. They're temporary. That type of freedom is chofshi, which Sachs tells us is related to 2 words in Hebrew, chafetz, desire, and chapetz, to look for, pursuing one's desires which can never be fulfilled entirely. Real freedom is cherut, which can be read as charut, engraved. So what's the difference between like real freedom, the charot? How do you attain real freedom? Think about it. Rules that are written on paper are temporary and can be easily removed or erased, just like our desires and yearnings that come and go and change over time. But they'll never give us ultimate joy, and they'll certainly never give us ultimate freedom. Torah Messina is something completely different. It's engraved. It's a part of it. When you engrave something, it becomes part of what it's engraved on. And that's completely different to like a law that's written down. That's how we're meant to live our lives, to be an indistinguishable part of Hashem's work on earth, to be completely stuck together. So that's the essence of freedom. The gematria of the word cherut is 614, interestingly, which is basically 613 plus 1. And the 1 is Aleph. The Aleph is the Ani. Every single person at the Seder and throughout the year has the opportunity to take the charut, to take the freedom, and to live their lives as a committed Jew, and to like follow Hashem and all of the laws. So keep calm. The essence of it. So that's how we get to that. And then keep calm, Hakol B'Seder. Hashem has the ultimate plan for how He will create a life, Hakol B'Seder. But within that, each and every one of us, the Aleph, can choose how to do it. My late father said in pretty much every phone call, don't worry. Because even if I did worry, it wouldn't change Hashem's ultimate plan. Therefore, it is probably the wiser choice to keep calm, Hakol B'Seder. That's all.